Breaking news! Breaking news! Today is going to be the day where God Real is God Real. Because as you guys can see over here, I have official confirmation, right, from Cognosphere themselves right here. Official confirmation with a whoa up in there. Wait, hold up. Silence. Yep, as you guys can see, we have official confirmation that from the JP server, this is in fact exclusive or unexclusive footage from Uncle P, right? From Uncle P that Castorice and Tribbie, their 5-star unit and Lycon, because your streamer actually reads Japanese, their 5-star unit and Lycon is going to be free to obtain. 无料获得 free to obtain for everybody playing Honkai Star Rail, right? So I just want to kind of talk a little bit about this particular situation, what this truly means for the Remembrance flagship, what this truly means for the community. Oh, it's in the exchange shop. I misspoke, right? My Japanese is a little bit rusty. Okay, it's in the exchange shop, right? But in any case, this is in fact a free update to all HSR players. So if you are going to be a Remembrance flagship main, right? Your Castorice is E1, right? You skipped Castorice, like for example, if some streamers out there, you know, they have like morals, right? They want to stand up against the predatory gacha game predators, or they skipped out on a moral global passive. Well, now everybody can just get one copy for free. Sasuga Dawe, absolute fucking cinema. So we are gonna be seeing how this is gonna be really useful for a lot of players. Number one, let's just first talk about Castorice, right? Let's just first talk about Castorice. Wait, actually, let me come here real quick. Yeah, let's just, okay, ignore it. Let's just first talk about Castorice. So Castorice, right, as you guys would have seen from her performance in all of our endgame content, she is gonna be a really interesting comparison to what you would call the Elation flagship, right? If you take a peek over here at the Elation flagship under our tier list, as of right now, we do see, I thought broke, but we do see that Castorice is gonna be remaining in tier 0 alongside with Sparksy as well as Yao Guang. And then the first top row is always gonna be Castorice, Avalite, Cyrene, as well as Hyacinth, followed by an E0 Tribbie, which honestly, we'll talk about that in the future, but as of right now, if you were to get Castorice in your account, I would say, from a cost perspective, I'm not too sure if you're gonna be able to match up in terms of efficiency for the Elation environments. Because, first of all, the cost system has ruined HSR. Alright, we're gonna talk about this very soon. The cost system has in fact ruined HSR because last time I checked, it costs the same amount of Stellar Jades to pull for a new unit compared to an old unit. Alright. It costs me 100 pulls to get Scylla, just like it costs me 100 pulls to get Sparksy. But, okay, I guess Scylla is free, right? Maybe Scylla is a 0-cost unit because she got added to the standard pool. It costs 100 pulls to get Jingyuan, right? So, in that sense, because the environment in HSR version 4 right now is gonna be catering towards Elation, right? It is definitely gonna be catering towards Elation. If you do want to play your Remembrance flagship, right, an excellent example is basically Bob. Are you willing to invest more cost? Are you willing to commit for, let's just say, a additional upgrades? Because for the same cost, if you compare a Remembrance flagship to a Elation flagship, you're probably not gonna be getting the same performance, especially when the bosses and the environment are not gonna be built for the Remembrance flagship. Luckily for us, right, as of this current update, Castorice is officially now 0 cost, because everybody can get her, right? As a matter of fact, why not just get 6 copies of Castorice, because you can just redeem her from the shop, right? And then just get a free E6 Castorice. Oh, that would actually change things up a little bit more, huh? Wait, actually, is there a limit? I think there is, right? I actually have no idea if there's a limit. Chess, does this have a limit? Okay, so theoretically speaking, okay, I didn't know because I'm a free to play, right? I'm a free to play, so I never ever looked at discount things, right? So theoretically speaking, right, since they are gonna be added to the shop, an E6 Castorice, will you count that as 0 cost? Pondering. Because I personally think that an E6 Castorice is definitely gonna be able to match up cost-wise to the Elation flagship. Before we do move to Teep, just a quick little update for anybody that actually wants to upgrade your Remembrance because of the free Castorice. Get yourself the E2 first. And if you do not have the E2, you might as well just wait until Dawei adds, like, I don't know, adds Cyrene to the shop. And I'm guessing if you're still playing Remembrance flagship and you skipped on Hyacinth, right? I do believe there's a reason why they added Castorice to the shop instead of the real unit, right? Because she is not added to the shop. Alright, so I would say that for Remembrance enjoyers, this is still a priority, but to be fair, every single Remembrance main probably already has themselves a Hyacinth, so I don't think this problem is going to concern you. So you really got a Hyacinth, you got yourself an Evernight, you got yourself a Cyrene, then rounding up with a E0 Castorice is gonna be a pretty decent way for your upgrades. Because I'm assuming for Evernight mains, right, if you're gonna be an Evernight main, you are most likely running Evernight RMC, Hyacinth, Cyrene. It's either RMC or it's either gonna be Tribbie. Generally speaking though, because we are gonna be moving on to EMC, it's gonna be coming out next patch, right? If you are gonna be running EMC on your Elation team, then that slot is either gonna be your E0 Tribbie, which is at this point is a little bit homeless, or E0 Castorice. And between E0 Tribbie and E0 Castorice, I would always put in E0 Castorice instead of Tribbie, right? If anybody tries telling you that E0 Evernight does more damage than E0 Castorice, cost for cost, they are lying to you. They are just lying to you, right? So that is pretty much it. But of course, if you're talking about E2 investments, right? If you're going to be talking about E2 Evernight, then at that point, you're probably going to be better off going for Sustainless, because Evernight can actually do Sustainless just for the highest possible amount of damage. So those will be for your considerations. Moving on to Teep, right? Okay, this character being added to the shop, it doesn't surprise me, by the way. Right? Do you know why it doesn't surprise me? Right? Why is Tribbie now officially added to the shop? It's because of tier lists like Pridewind. Alright? Because Pridewind is basically the #1 most useful source of information when it comes to all gacha games. Not sponsored, by the way. I'm not sponsored by Pridewind. Pridewind is the gospel. This is the church of Pridewind. Everything here is 100% factually tested with statistics, with data analysis, with a sampling size. So everything here is 100% factual, right? Now, there is a problem with this tier list though. Why? Because Pridewind, in their infinite Doctor Strange infinite possibilities, they have seen the fucking future and they know that everybody is gonna be able to redeem that E1 Tribbie. So while this Tribbie over here says triple tier 0, it is actually not E0, guys. This is because Pridewind has already seen into the future and they have added the E1 Tribbie cost equivalency to the amplifiers, which I would say is gonna be a little bit more comparable to the E0 counterparts, right? So Sasuga, an infinite 500 steps ahead move by Pridewind, because they already knew this information before this news even came out to the public, right? So I think at this point, yes, between both, if you can only choose one, if you are an Remembrance main with a E0 Tribbie and without Castorice, I will actually get Castorice. If you were to get a E1 Tribbie with a E0 Evernight, maybe their performances might be a little bit comparable, But there's one thing that you don't get with a E1 Tribbie. And that's global passive, right? So because of a literal free global passive, that value alone being accessible to everyone and their moms will automatically give Castorice a higher advantage when it comes to who are you gonna be redeeming for this particular screenshot right here, right? And with regards to the light code, right? Because this is gonna be the light code, right? This light cone is whatever because we have the god of all harmony light cones, but Castorice's light cone is pretty good. In fact, it is very, very good because of the 12% AV advance every single time a dragon dies, and you're going to be summoning a lot of dragons with Cyrene anyways. So I would say Castorice's light cone is going to be a free upgrade, right? Basically free, right? Basically free upgrade to the entire roster of your remembrance. So I am pretty much gonna come into the end of today's content, right? Wait, listen, Hoyoverse releases free remembrance upgrades, free Castorice and Tribbie. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Yo, Edward, by the way, at the time of this recording, you have to upload this video today, because it is currently 8:38 p.m. on the 1st of April for no particular reason whatsoever. You have to upload this today, and it cannot be delayed for another day, right? So you have to upload this today. All right, word of the day is gonna be everything. Gorreal is Gorreal. Join Twitch, join to join Discord, join Twitter. Use code POKE. Damn, no gamers up. All the best. See you guys next time. Take care. All right, bonus. PS is only gonna be for Honkai Stario.